Hey Julian, alright, so after using the graph editor on the Pinhole assignment, using no graph editor on the Taylor assignment, I think I'm finally starting to grasp the overlapping principle. Instead of applying it in the, yeah, exactly, that is for sure. Okay, sorry you've had a crazy couple of weeks, but yeah, let's see what you have here. And that's looking pretty good. It's a little too fast here. In this area overall, this looks really good, and you know, everything is working really well. But I would have it hold on this the apex of this move the most, and just have more ease in and ease out through there. Excuse me, right now it's like so abrupt, it goes up and down, whereas it can go up quickly, but we can see that change and just like kind of exaggerate that move going in and out of that motion through there. And I think it would be the same. You know, the second swing actually has a little bit more nice, a little nicer of ease in and ease out. So I think if you just balance that out a little bit more, that's where we would feel it. So maybe adding a lot more on this frame 13 one, and just a little bit more in the frame 21. It's, you know, it's one of those things you have to see as you're working on it to make sure, but you might not need any end on the second one. And then the rest feel really good as they settle. So, yeah, great work in that revision. Let's see the, your devastation pose. Yes, that looks good. The tan, it still feels a little bit too flat to me. And I don't know if I got my point across clearly. But what I meant here, like you rotated it and that feels better, but it's basically just trying to keep it from being flat. And so I would bring it, here I'm going to draw it, and then I'll show you with my hand what I mean. Ignore that. My Wacom freaks out sometimes. So something like that. And what that is like, so the hand's against the wall. And see, even like if I'm just doing that with my hand, there's some sort of shape. Like if we're looking at it from the side profile, the shape is more like that than it is like that. And so that's what I'm trying to get with this hand here. It's like you just bend that in a little bit, and you know, maybe raise the elbow so we have a shape that looks like that and looks like that. That'll feel more natural with your pose. And then yeah, everything else looks really good, like really nice natural balance there on that, and yeah, everything else works really well. So it's a really nice pose. Let's see your Taylor assignment now. First pass here. Okay. All right. So cool. I like this concept. It looks like you're getting a good grasp of like the overlap with the tail. Because what I really like here is this, like with through here. Like you really have a good sense of creating a clean arc as the tail comes around, and that's what's really important. And that's what feels, even here as you're doing the reversal in that shape, you're still taking into consideration the tip right there, the tail, and then how it's creating that arc and how that looks. I know this is blocking, but even for this assignment, the blocking is a little bit too rough. So I would say like just try to make this. Anytime you have more than 1 week for an assignment, I would say just like try to put a little bit more into it. I know you said, you just told me that you had a lot going on, but just for future reference, like that's something to take into consideration. And mainly what we would want in blocking here is to make sure that the ball itself is like pretty finalized because it's such a simplified form and such a simplified shape. That's something that even like as it goes out through here, and then this is the part where I feel like it's really rough as it goes across. And I like this idea of your character like really going quickly across, but that timing and spacing here, like see how it slows down so much, and then you know, that spacing is just like really abrupt. So when we play it back, we see this like really shaky and jittery thing there. So let's go over that. The way it begins is really nice. You know, totally getting the concept of the contact frame on this jump here, and that's great. I like to see that. And then here, you're same sort of thing, like you're putting that contact frame in there, and you're getting a nice settle. So that first jump is really good. The only thing I would change is I would have a little bit more hang time in the air here. It feels like you have a big jump, and you could really exaggerate the amount of time your character is in the air, and that would give it a better feel and give the audience a little bit more time to kind of take that in. But right now, it's almost like that jump is a little bit too even because it goes up and down so quickly. But if you have it go up quickly, hang in the air, we can kind of think of, we don't want to go too cartoony with it. Like, we don't want it to just like be suspended in the air and come back down. So we want to start going a little bit towards, when we say exaggeration, just going a little bit more to that exaggerated moment and thinking, okay, like maybe physically it wouldn't hang this long in the air, but we're pushing it a little bit longer just so the audience can read that. And so, okay, so that's really good. And then here, this is another thing where I feel like this would be a good moment because it feels like your character is they're like startled, and we see that startle here in this jump, and so maybe there would be just like a little bit more anticipation here, like stretch up before you go down. And let's see that timing here, it feels very abrupt. Yeah, so really play on that timing too, like it goes up before it goes down, maybe stays in squash a little bit longer. Now, it doesn't have to be in that same frame, but it squashes down over time a little bit longer, and then goes into the air. And as it goes into the air, watch this arc because it's really abrupt. It basically just goes up and back down. And this is another moment where I feel even more so like we could get into the realm of cartooniness with this to really get that like starting up and like that the legs kicking sort of thing. And how we could sell that is like have your character suspended in the air, not completely stopped, but we really play on that exaggeration of your character. You know, if we're looking at the ease in and ease out, like it's really exaggerated at that apex. And then we do it with the tail. We get like a little bit of a back and forth with the tail. So it's like going up and doing that as it goes up and then goes back down. And then here, this is where I feel like what you can do here is like really play with this shape. So going from there to there, I would just turn the ball over. And this would make the tail, I think, over here. That's okay because you can just like follow that tail edge through there and just keep it stretched as it's going across in that shape. Now the spacing I know isn't correct, so it shouldn't be. So it's going across there, and then like as it goes to a certain point, you may even want to, so the tail would still be like that. Have it land like this with that tail out, and this would be kind of unique, which is cool. And then stretch down, the tail's there, so going just basically from there to there, And then from here, we're starting to stretch up again, and that tail is still like that. So basically you're playing off that shape, going through there and then coming out off the ground there. So it's almost like it's bouncing on the side, but because it's such a quick move, it's okay to have that shape elongated and make it really feel like your character is scrambling to get out. So overall, good start. I would say for a first start, like there's still a lot of roughness, especially in that last part there. But you're definitely understanding the concepts here. It's just it's a matter of putting that all together. Okay, so good stuff, Julian. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, thanks.